G'day and welcome to my garage.
G'day and welcome to my garage. I'm Peter. Today I'm not in the garage, I'm not anywhere, well I'm a good 3 metres, 10 feet away from the lathe and a lot further away from the milling machine. Today I'm on the trailer doing some maintenance. The son borrowed this last week, the trailer that is. The son borrowed this last week. The suspect wheel bearing, it was the outer bearing on this side. The cage had busted up. Unfortunately for him, he had to get out that day, get his toolbox out that day. So he had to go and hire a trailer, all for a lousy $20 bearing set. So that's my job. It's my trailer, so I'm going to fix it. Could have asked him, but still, I'm fixing it. So, I had to pull this one apart to find out what bearings were in it. I was pretty sure they were Holden bearings, and if you're not from Australia or New Zealand, Holden is a GM product which pretty much turned its toes up last year before. So, but anyhow, the bearings are early Holden. So I went out and I went out to buy 2 sets, bearing kits. I came back with one, so I'm still going to go back and get the other one. But they're cheap. They were a little bit of change out of $17 Australian. So I'm not complaining. So today's exercise is to clean this up, put some bearings in after I grease them up, and it'll be all good again. Alright, let's go and have a look at those bearing shells, see what story they can tell. So this is the inner bearing shell, starting to show some discoloration here. It's got some marks in it where you can see the bearings sat for a long time. It's a box trailer after all. Here, don't know if you can see that, there are some marks where it's just starting to break up the skin. So that one was caught just in time. Definitely wouldn't have been too many more trips and that one would have gone. This is the outer one. It's got a lot of cratering going on. I think that's a bit of a mix of the cage, broken pieces of the cage rolling around in there, and probably some all that pitting. A lot of that could be the bearing was starting to fail before the cage shattered. But yeah, definitely a problem with that one. I'm going to do the other side just as a precaution. They're so cheap and they're easy to do. So we'll change those out. These bearings, by the way, are a good 15, if not 20 years old or older. And I know we like to pile it on the Chinese, but that's where they come from, China. So the outer is an LM 1910 and the inner is an LM 67010. There we go. And the new ones, yep, made in China also. There you go. Alright, I've cleaned the hub. Just going to knock these shells in first and then we'll grease the bearings up properly. This is just a bit of mild steel. Don't use a hardened punch. I should have brightened this edge up. Not to worry. Sounds like it's home. It looks like it's home also. A firmer bench would be nice. Just going to brighten up this punch. Looks like it's home, but it didn't sound like it. That sounded like it. Alright, I'll go and get the grease pot and get that ready. Pack those bearings. So we're squeezing it through the bearing cage. Don't just lay it around the outside, otherwise it runs dry until the bearings get full contact with grease. And not only that, this loads the bearing up enough so that you've got enough grease in there to start with. And don't put great amounts of grease inside the hub. I just put a smear in there. Okay, that's enough grease. Now careful with the seal. It's fairly thin, easy to damage. Right. This is ready to go on. I've cleaned the axle up and also just give it a quick rub with a fine emery paper, sandpaper. Not a heavy grip because you've got a running surface here for a lip seal. So it's all nice and clean. I've put a bit of grease on it. Just be gentle with it. The last little bit. The seal goes over. Now with the outer bearing, which has already been pre-greased. The washer. Find the grease hole before you put the nut on. There it is. What did I say, the grease hole? No. Find the split pin hole before you put the nut on. Now the adjustment of tapered roll and wheel bearings. SKF give a good article on how to do it. You can have good debates on how to do it. I tighten it up tight. That makes sure that the bearings are home all the way. And then back it off, bring it up until it just catches, and then find the grease hole, which was about here somewhere. There, and that's loose. So take it up to the next one. And I only felt or saw one grease hole, one split pin hole. Yep, only one hole. And it's in the 3 o'clock position, 3 to 9. So find that place. Where is it? About there somewhere. Doesn't want to go in. What's going on? Not even lined up. Not even lined up. either the castellations aren't machined straight in line, or that hole is not perfectly drilled in line across the centre of the axle. Because I can get it in there, I can't even feel the hole here. Alright, this castellation, these are 4.5mm. This is a 5mm drill. I've put a 4.5mm drill in there and it was a nice fit. And they're anything up to between 1/4 to 1/2 millimetre. So that's 10 to 20 thou offset from centre, measuring across there compared to there. So I'm going to ease these slots out from 4.5 to 5mm. Hopefully that will give me a little bit more room, because the drilling in that axle is not through the centre, it's off to one side, and it misses the about 1/4 to 1/2 a pin, split pin. So I'm just going to ease these out. Ease these out to 5mm. And if this doesn't give me enough, I can't straighten the hole up in the axle. Well, if I had a big enough milling machine, I could put it in the mill and put an end mill through it. But what I'll do is try this first. If this doesn't work, then I'll I'll drill the axle pinhole out another 1/2 millimetre. That's 20 thou. So I'm not getting too excited here. That's it. So I'll do I've already done 2. I'll do the 3rd one off camera. See you over at the trailer. Just going to give this nut a bit of a finish up. Never thought to do this before. Date stamp it. Well, the year anyhow. Should always get these first go. Two. There we go. At least I'll know what year I put these bearings in. Probably forget to look. Okay, let's start. This is the old washer. It's got indentation in it from the nut on both sides. It's a bit galled, so I'll put that in the bin. Found another washer. Alright, this washer's a bit thicker than the other one. So it may alter the timing of when this nut tightens up. I've also did a little bit more lenishing on this nut, and I've reduced the thickness by 0.2 of a mil. That's about 1/8 thou. So let's see how this combination works. Actually, I think this one is a little bit, it is different, and I have tried this, I know it fits in there. It's got to be that extra 1/2 millimetre of widening these slots made a difference. Okay, make sure you turn the split pin all the way in, otherwise it'll scrape on the inside of the cap. Where's my punch? Now this nut gun does not have any torque settings on it. My air one has 4 settings, so I usually run it up slow on 2. Don't ram it in there. Just bring it gently up to the wheel. Okay, now off to do the other side. Oh well, you watch me on the other side. Leave this with me. I've never had a hub not come off. Anyhow, leave it with me. But I thought I'd put this back together so I can show you how I had to get this apart. I've got a car diamond jack, that's the red one, over the back. I've got that core pressing between the wheel hub and the spring, and then gently with a 2-pound hammer hitting this side, not too hard because I don't want to cause run out on that flange. It came off. I put it back on, and putting it back on, this nut is having difficulty pushing the bearing back onto the shaft. Now when I did take it off, the grease was very tacky, like a glue. And it's a little bit brown. I don't know if you can see that. It's a bit brown, so it may have had a bit of water in there. I don't know. It's hard to say. But nothing's rusted. The axle's not rusted. So, yes, difficult hub to get off. Haven't had this happen before.